Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress have suspended a planned nationwide strike scheduled for today. The decision follows 2 days of talks with the federal government, resulting in a memorandum of understanding to address the cost of living crisis following the removal of petrol subsidy. The resolutions include a provisional wage award of 35,000 naira for federal workers starting from September until a new national minimum wage is formally agreed. There's also a 6-month suspension of VAT on diesel, a commitment of 100 billion naira for high-capacity gas-powered buses, and lots more. The suspension of the strike provides a 30-day window for the MOU's implementation. Joining me now from Abuja studios to discuss this further is Yusuf Othman. He's the national president of the Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners, NATO. Good morning, sir. Great to have you in our studios.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your making your time. Let me start by asking you how your members have been coping with the high cost of petrol and diesel since the removal of full subsidy payments to oil importers.
Well, thank you so much for having me here. Our members are, majorly they distribute petroleum products across the country using trucks and some using open body. So it has not been easy. Hitherto, the transporters move petroleum products across the country, and that was during the equalization regime, and that is usually paid by Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Agency. Now, this product, with the removal of subsidy, the marketers will have to pay this cost of freight themselves. And it means that the market forces will ultimately determine the cost of freight as well as determine the consumption. So sincerely speaking, so many of us that hitherto have so many trucks active, now they are no longer active because the consumption has reduced due to the high cost of the petroleum product across the country. And so many people, because of the high cost, they have changed lifestyles. So, of course, if you observe, even the average daily consumption for the country initially was close to about 100 million. Now it's close to about 30 to 40 million, meaning that, of course, radical reduction has taken place. So, meaning that so many other trucks are not optimized, idle. Notwithstanding, it's a good development because you will find that in the long run, the business will take shape, and at the end of the day is the country and the consumers at the end of the day in the long run will benefit from this withdrawal of subsidy because, of course, like we always say, it will free up some funds to deploy to other areas of need. As you could observe, prior to withdrawal of subsidy, the FAC distribution was between 500, 600, 700 billion. Now we're talking of 1 trillion. So it means there is something that is happening. So it's a very good development.
Yes, the fuel subsidy removal is a good development on one hand, but here you're dealing with the fallout of the same subsidy removal. So are you happy with the government's announcement that at least there will be 100 billion naira set aside for gas-powered buses?
Yes, we are very happy. These are some of the palliatives that we normally clamor for the benefit of the consumers and the workers across the country, because it is expected that these buses will be deployed to areas where people do not have the capacity, financial capacity to buy their vehicles and fuel their vehicles because what is paid to them is not adequate to go around. Just like in so many other countries, although we are a developing country, but you observe not everybody has the capacity to have 1, 2, 3, 4 vehicles in his household and to fuel them all at the same time. So, of course, you will be used to the buses. However, this buses is a very, very good initiative, and we commend the president for this bold step. This is what we call birthday gift. Apart from this, of course, there is the issue of BAT. We are coming to that. But let me stress here, the 100 buses, should be spelled out clear, because I remember during President Jonathan, a similar thing was done. So many buses were deployed, and of course, some of our members benefited. But at the end of the day, what we found out was that the vehicles given, some of them were given to people to supply as contract. So you'll find the price, market price of these buses is went up by 10-20% because whoever is supplying as a contract. That's one. And ab initio, government should spell out clear. When you are giving palliative, is it a grant or a loan? If it is a loan, then you should spell out, is there any rebate the government should do? Because at the end of the day, you will have to pay this loan. Now, if it comes to you with the price of a contractor on top, and probably, yes, interest-free, and you deploy it, and there are no enabling environment within which to operate these buses and make profit, at the end of the day, the operator will operate at a loss. So there will have to be feasibility studies in the first place, even to find out where are you going to deploy these buses. Are there alternative means of transport that will hinder the operation of these new buses? Because consumers are after cost. If you deploy these buses, you charge 500 per drop, and there is alternative keke nape or whatever that charge 100. Naturally, you leave these buses, and they will be moving empty. So government initiative is good, but we'll have to sit down and look at the feasibility studies. What is the cost of the vehicle? What are the costs attached to it? And what is is it a palliative, is it a grant, or is it a loan? And what do you expect to be the payback period? All these things have to be factored in with a view to have a success. So many other people, other areas that have done this. Let me give you an example of BRT in Lagos. When BRT came in, I'm not party to whatever is, but at least so many government decisions have taken place to be able to allow it to operate. There is a special line, BRT line in Lagos. There are some areas those yellow buses cannot go so that they will not compete cheaper with those BRT buses. So such kind of initiatives should come in place to ensure the success of whatever is coming in. But if such kind of things are not in place, I don't know.
All that you've just said, who would you be discussing this with? I mean, your association, the NATO, who would you be discussing this with? Is the Minister of Transportation? Are you ready to do this conversation? How quickly do you want to have this engagement with the necessary government agencies to sort it out? Because this is very, very important. Folks are hurting very well. Your members are hurting as well. So you need to do something, take action quickly. How soon should we expect this to happen?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it's a very good initiative. We are going to create a forum within which to discuss all this nitty-gritty with the government with a view to fine-tune and make sure we have sound footing. The president has done his bit, and it is expected that the the remnant should be done with the other government agencies to ensure we have hitch-free take-off and operation, just like I said in BRT in Lagos and so many other areas. But for us here, as the transporters of petroleum products, like I explained, and the other products, yes, government has done its bit, just like I explained, and with the full deregulation. Now they have gone ahead to give us another birthday gift, which is withdrawal of VAT on the cost of AGO. That is a very good development. And of course, you will see that the cost of our major cost of operation, which is diesel, will naturally come down by virtue of the suspension of the AGO a bit for 6 months. And there is the belief that within the next 6 months, it is expected that the local refineries, 1 or 2 or more, will come into stream. And as such, the diesel will be available probably locally. So the even issue of the 7.5% on importation or whatever will not arise.
Interesting that the government also puts a suspension of VAT on diesel on the table for the next 6 months. Is that some good news for you and your members?
Excellent. Excellent. You see, this government is a listening government. 2 weeks ago, I had a program with a television station, and we requested, I have written a letter to the Minister of State Petroleum and other city government agencies with a view to help us in view of the high cost of diesel. Now we're paying about 1,000 naira per liter, high cost of dollar about 1,000 naira, and all of that because we buy dollar, we buy battery, tire, and other components to dollar, and we buy diesel, of course. Even the diesel is bought. So we have high operational costs. So we beg the government to look at this thing, and like I said, it's a listening government. They've listened, they have suspended. It's a very good development, and we have other requests, and of course, we will channel those other requests to the government.
What solutions to the issues of fuel import, subsidy payments, and others on the road transport would you urgently recommend to the government? The government is looking at getting the government refineries back on track by December. Do you think this will give you the sunset that is needed that say, look, we're done with this problem, or as far as fuel is concerned?
Well, as we speak, I am not in a position to discuss about importation of petroleum product because I don't know the subsidy claim or the nitty-gritty of the subsidy regime, or if any, if there is any subsidy. But what I can say is that the plan going ahead is a very good initiative in the sense that, yes, where there is no ability to produce locally, certain persons with certain capacities will have to import this petroleum product. And if this petroleum product is imported, of course, it will be distributed across the country by virtue of the strength of whoever is importing. So what I will say, and my suggestion to the government, at least for now, as it affects us, we the transporters of petroleum product across the country and other things, the situation of the roads as we speak, especially from Benin to Lokoja, around Sepele bypass, and maybe between Mokwa, Kutugi, and Bida, it's terrible. And rain is coming. Last year, we had a similar experience with flood around Lokoja. And as much as we want to exercise our franchise, there's a limit to what we can do. And we advise that they should look at the issue of fixing these roads with a view to have smooth distribution of petroleum products across the country. As of today, the you people should understand, as of today, fuel is distributed 100% by trucks across the country. And if such is the case, therefore, there should be free flow of these petroleum product across the country. We appreciate, of course, the initiative of the government and their plans, especially the guarantor of energy security, which is the group managing director of NNPC. Still, they are trying their very best, but I think they should focus their attention, at least for now, on the repairs of the roads that are terrible as we speak, especially around the Benin area.
Would you support the government looking to provide rail lines to move petrol products instead of using trucks?
Absolutely. Major developing countries or developed countries, you find that they remove so many heavy-duty goods, not only petroleum products, with the rail. Such it will reduce the pressure on the roads. Government has been spending a lot of money on the repairs of roads. If you look at Nigeria as of today, the federal government, through Federal Ministry of Works, repairs roads. They also do it through some of the constituency projects. They do it through Federal Road Maintenance Agency. State government do fix roads. Local government do fix roads. Everybody fix roads. Even Dangote, on his own, he fixes roads because there are some roads that he does. Yet, we have issues. So it's not just unconnected with the weight on the road. Therefore, going with the rail is going to be a good initiative, good development. Because as much as, for example, if you have a rail that moves from Warri, let's say to Abuja or to Suleja, all we need to do is to send our truck to Suleja to distribute within the local environment. That is what happens in other places. But now we have to go all the way from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri, from Port Harcourt to Yola, Port Harcourt to Sokoto, and Lagos, to all those areas. It's heavy because no matter how much you spend, the weight naturally, look at even not only the weight of petroleum products, the weight of heavy goods, containers, cement, and so many other goods. You find some grains from the north down to the south or east, and vice versa. All those, they are contributing to the dilapidation of the roads. So with the rail is a good development. Now, we appreciate the government decision on the Apapa, movement of Apapa containers to Ibadan. We hope that from Ibadan, they will move to Ogomosho, maybe to Ilorin, maybe to Mokwa, and down to the north. It's a good development.
Okay, on a final note, how much impact is exchange rate, Naira-dollar relationship having on this entire conversation, and what would that mean for the common man who will be paying at the bottom of the pyramid for the services provided?
Yes, before what we are currently being paid as transporters, I'm talking particularly about petroleum product, was negotiated when dollar was 500 naira, when diesel was 500 naira. Today, dollar is averaging 1,000. Diesel is averaging 1,000. So it means that we are operating at more or less at par, at a loss, so to say, because there is no return on investment. We buy tire before now using naira. We buy naira, the Chinese tire, probably about 80 to 100,000. Today we buy it 160,000. We buy battery 20,000, 25,000. Today we buy it 50,000. We buy diesel a kek before 28,000. Today we buy it 48,000, 50,000. And all other spare parts are like that. You understand? So therefore, we are shortchanged. But you see, there's a limit to, of course, we appreciate even what the government is doing, because maybe in the last dispensation, you understand that the government has provided a lot of money for the subsidy, about 1 point or more trillions of naira in the last dispensation. But now, we are where we are today. And the way we are now, if nothing is done by either the marketers, whom we are working for, or for government to come in and say, okay, look at all these things. Gradually, people are parking their trucks, and they will continue to park their trucks. And if such happens, we're not saying that somebody should park his truck, because we're into business, we want to make money. Some of us have many facilities, we want to have return on our investment to be able to pay our financiers and whatever. But if care is not taken, tomorrow you will find nobody doing the business. And there's nobody to distribute this petroleum product across the country, except some of our members, or majority of our members. The rail that you're talking about is not in place. So there is need to understand we have a time bomb. Somebody somewhere has to come to our rescue. Just like you complained about 2 weeks ago, and government came into our rescue and reduced this VAT on diesel. It's a very good debate, we appreciate. And just like they are doing on the CNG, just that the modalities has to be fine-tuned so that somebody should not be shortchanged in the long run. Otherwise, everything is okay.
All right, we thank you so much for your time on Global Business Reports this morning. Yusuf Lawal Othman, the National President of the National Association of Road Transport Owners. Thank you so much, and wish you all the best.